Hey everybody, it's Nikki Lerner here. I am empowering you to be a reconciler through music and love and conversation. Today's question comes from Derek, and Derek writes this: how do I lead in the conversation on race and diversity as a white male without making it about me, my guilt, or my power? First thing I will tell you is this: remember that even in this conversation, that it's not about you. It's about us collectively. If you start from that mindset, and not only just start from that mindset, 5 minutes before you go into a conversation or 5 minutes before you lead, but literally every day in the work that you're doing, if you remind yourself that it's not about you personally, it is about the collective us, that will help you as you jump into leading your staff, leading a congregation, leading a small group, whatever it is. The second thing I would tell you is this: just remember that one of the first rules of communication in general when you're a public speaker is craft your content in the spirit of what is best for the listener, what is best for the people that will be receiving your content. Don't forget that rule of communication when you find yourself standing in front of people, even while leading conversations and discussions around race and diversity. It will help you get out of your own mind, help you get off of what am I bringing here, what do I represent, all those things, and will turn it back onto what is best for the collective us in the room. That will then open up your brain to say, where do we need to go? What do we need to talk about? The third thing is this: whenever you are feeling guilt, self-consciousness, if you are concerned about yourself as a person, this is whether you are speaking publicly about anything, or even if you're talking about conversations around race and culture and diversity, that is actually a sign of insecurity. You need to address that as a person. You need to address that in your journaling, in your prayers, your meditation, because you don't want to stand up in front of a room or stand up in front of people if you're publicly communicating and start to communicate with them out of this sense of insecurity and fear. You can kind of stoke this fear and concern. God has called you to something very specific, and you need to walk in that, even when it's difficult, like entering conversations on race and diversity. Now, for those of you that are bridge builders and reconcilers, that you are moving forward in the work of helping to bring people together while you're dealing with your own issues around race and culture and diversity, also remember to stoke the truth that God has called you to something specific. Your color, your culture, your background, everything that makes you up right now in this point in history is exactly what God intended it to be, for you to do the work of reconciliation. Lean into those things. Anytime you're running away from them, if you're afraid of them, you're stoking insecurity. For any of us, we're going to need to know who we are first and what God has called us to do in order to move forward and be a real leader and a real bridge builder in this conversation on race, culture, and diversity.